might know what I'm thinking about. I can't think of his name, but one of the guys from Shark Tank. He was on a CNN panel. I happened to watch the CNN panel. And he was defending the H-1B visa. Right? And he's not the only one defending H-1B visa. I'm not against him, by the way. I'm pro-immigration in the general idea. But he was muddying the waters by trying to confuse H-1B visas. Right? And he was doing it on purpose. And I've seen some of these people that in the different CEOs, they understand that the H-1 visa is the one for those really high-performing people who start a company. Right? We already have a visa for them, right? And they started saying H-1B, meaning that they're going to get the next person who's going to start up the next big tech company in the United States of America. So I think that when we look at this whole immigration discussion, broadly outside of the president, we have to look at what some of these CEOs and these different corporations and companies, what their wishes are and what they want, and how the president, and even in some of the universities, how the president is willing to change his position or make allowances, so to speak, for those people, to get people who will be brown or who are not white in those particular areas, sectors, and industries or student bodies. So that's all I have to say.
So I'll just point out that, and I don't know whether your comments were a direct response to Steve's, he was talking about unskilled versus skilled, and obviously Silicon Valley and the medical profession, etc., those are all skilled immigrants. We do have a shortage, for example, of nurses in this country, and we actively recruit nurses from the Philippines and elsewhere because of that shortage. And we obviously have a shortage of doctors, at least American-born doctors. It's interesting, Steve makes a point, and maybe, he's looking back at a society that doesn't exist today, or maybe he's right, that society does exist, where Americans were willing to take jobs, hardworking, menial-type, unskilled labor jobs, and they don't. But they can't, he argues, because the unskilled folks that are coming into the country. But I don't think it's just unskilled. If you look at the medical profession, as David points out, the technology professions, many of those individuals are not native-born Americans. Is that because they're taking the jobs of native-born Americans, or there just not enough people who are interested in filling those positions? A friend of mine has a pretty important position at Amazon. He's an American citizen, but he was born in Belarus. And he finds that the people he works with are all Asian and not born in the United States, as he wasn't born in the United States. How do you account for that? So I think we have to be a little careful about broad strokes. And remember, this original discussion was not about specifics. And I know there are people who are concerned about folks here illegally, and I agree with that. But it's about the general tone of this administration, of this president. He's got an anti-immigration bent. This is indisputable. And he talks about shithole countries. Whoever heard of a president of the United States publicly, maybe privately, who knows what they say privately or think privately, but he's representing you and me. And he's referring to these other countries as shitholes. Maybe some of them are, I don't know. But is this something that a president should be saying? And we don't want people from those shithole countries to come here? And I guess Steve can date his folks back to the Mayflower days, or close to. But many of us, we only go back a generation or two or three. And as he was speaking, I thought about my